Canadiens are proud to select Ivan Demidov.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the CURFEWBOYS. Today it's a matinee, so it's early morning for us. Not sure what time you guys are going to listen to it, but if not, good morning to all. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, let me introduce to my boys. We got Sammy in the house.
Hey now.
You got Actress Anthony here tonight. Why am I saying tonight? It's morning.
It's okay.
It's a matinee morning episode.
Tonight, this morning, tomorrow.
I mean, it's nighttime somewhere,
yesterday.
Right?
Yeah. I think if you're being considerate to some of our European listeners.
Yeah. What about Joey? What time is it for Joey?
Joey's definitely sleeping, but if he's awake, Joey could be a night bird sometimes, so he's probably listening. So good night, Joey.
Good night, Joey. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we get things started, I would like to thank our sponsors for the episode today. We got Habs Cave, of course, Sunil. Guys, follow him. He's an amazing guy, supports the community, an amazing Habs fan out there. I think one of the biggest Habs fans I know. His basement is amazing. So much memorabilia. You name it. He has literally everything to the point of toilet paper. I'm telling you now, he has Leafs toilet paper. That's perfect.
Yeah. And the Bruins.
And the Bruins, exactly. Guys, give him a follow at Sunil Habscave, at Habscave on Instagram. You can reach out to him. He's an amazing guy to talk to. He knows so much about the Montreal Canadiens, and also he just loves to support the community. So, guys, give him a follow. Thanks, Sunil, for your love and support.
Absolutely.
We also have Mike's Barbecue Rubs. He's a Canadian company based out of Montreal, Quebec that sells barbecue rubs, sauces, and kettle-cooked chips. All of his products are proudly made and packaged here in Canada. They can be used on all types of meat, vegetables, and even fish. It's barbecue season. Finally, the weather is nice. So get his product. We can start using the barbecue. He also has kettled chips, which are cooked here in Canada. And the only company in Canada who is using their barbecue rub as the seasoning for their chips. Great product for snacks. And if you want to drink some beer with it, whatever you want. You can follow them on their social media pages such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. All their products are available to purchase on their website at www.mikesbarbecuerub.com. And they also ship all across Canada. Guys, we'll have all this information on our social media pages. You can click follow and order their products online. And again, as always, don't forget to rub your meat. Also, if you like what you're listening, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. You can follow us and subscribe to our channel to see our beautiful faces on YouTube. It is free. Like and subscribe. Share with all your friends and family. I mean, if you like to listen to our episodes in the car, you can listen to any podcast platform such as Spotify, Apple Music, Google, and again, any other podcast platform you like to listen to. Sammy.
Yep.
Sammy. It's coming to an end. It's coming to an end. But also a new beginning for the Montreal Canadiens in less than 4 weeks. So we are entering the Stanley Cup Finals tomorrow night.
Yep.
Another repeat.
A rematch, yep.
We got Edmonton Oilers versus the Florida Panthers. Fuck, I don't know who to go for, Sam. Like, I'm a big Florida fan, of course, as you know, as my backup team. And I love the city. And I've always said to you guys, I think we all on the same page, but I think things are different this time around. But I've always said the selfish side of me is I don't want to see another Canadian team win until Montreal wins it and brings it back home.
Yeah.
But there's something about this year that I do want Edmonton to win. I think they've gained my respect, you know, in the last 2 seasons of how they've been playing. And McDavid. I mean, we can hate all we want other teams, but when there's talent, we want to learn to respect it. And McDavid is just at another level. And I think he's one of those players that deserves to win a cup at least once in his career, especially after everything he's done for Edmonton. And I think this is it. I think he deserves it this year because if he doesn't win it this year, man, I think it's time for him as a player to move out, because it would be very unfortunate, a player like that, to never win it.
Well, I don't think he's going to move out of Edmonton, but you do have to question if Edmonton doesn't win this Stanley Cup Finals, you do have to ask the question: was this the last chance, but are they ever going to have another opportunity again? And like I'm talking about this core, like I'm talking about like the McDavid, Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins core amongst the forwards. You know, Evan Bouchard's going to have a big pay increase. Darnell Nurse, I mean, I think he's at the peak of his prime in his career. I mean, I don't think he's going to get worse, but I don't think he could get better either. How long, like Stuart Skinner keeps proving people wrong, but is he still going to be the number one guy going forward? When you look at goalies like Bobrovsky, who won it, you look at, I'm not talking about Andre Vasilevsky himself, but that type of caliber goaltending that can take you to not only the finals, but it can help you win it. So it's a very, very big question. I don't see McDavid leaving, but I have to double check how many years remaining left on his contract. But I think he's got 1 year left, to the best of my memory. There's a very good chance I'm wrong, but there is a different feeling with this Edmonton Oilers team.
There is, after that comeback in round one against LA, when they were down 2-0 and then they turned things around.
So there's that. I truly believe, though, just the way they handled this Dallas Stars team. I had Dallas Stars going to the finals. I think I had a Dallas versus I don't know if I put Carolina in the finals, but I really thought Carolina was different this year. But this Florida Panthers team keeps proving how much of a well-oiled playoff machine team they are. It's just insane how they play consistently that way. That rough, in your face, not even to give you a chance to breathe, let alone touch the puck. And when they get the puck in the offensive zone, just the way they circulate that puck, the full control, they tire out the oppositions, man. And they do it night in and night out, game after game. And it's not just one or two lines. It's all four lines. It's like Brad Marchand. That's like one game, like he's just going to lead the team. Another game, it's going to be Barkov. Another game, it's going to be Sam Reinhart was scratch injured for one game. But then you got Mikkola, and then Seth Jones. Suddenly we remember how actually of a good defenseman he is, just because he got out of Chicago. Aaron Ekblad, like that, he's just so rugged and tough, and like you dislike some of how he plays sometimes. You need that style of play in the playoffs. Forsling too on defense, and then Bobrovsky. I mean, who's probably, in my opinion, the best goalie in the NHL right now. Up there with Connor Hellebuck. I think Bobrovsky is just a little bit better, has a little bit more success. It helps when you have the team that you have in front of you, right? But this Edmonton Oilers team, they're everybody's contributing. It's not just McDavid and Draisaitl that's leading the charge. Like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, that series against the Dallas Stars, if let's say that was the Stanley Cup Finals, the winner of Dallas versus Edmonton would win the cup. Just speaking out of like who would deserve to be the most valuable player of that series, it was Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Like he actually carried that team, in my opinion, more than McDavid and Draisaitl. You know what you're going to get in and night out of McDavid and Draisaitl, but it's more like who are the guys after that are going to step it up besides your top two players. And that was Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And that's the difference between top end elite talent. The difference between, you look at the Edmonton Oilers and you look at the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I know we keep mentioning the Leafs, but if you look at Marner, Matthews, and Nylander, and then you look at McDavid, Draisaitl, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, there's consistency between all three players on the Oilers versus the Toronto Maple Leafs.
You just said it, Sam. And I think, we can all agree that Florida and Edmonton were the two best teams of the league this year. And you know why?
One of the two, yeah, for
One
sure.
or two, of course, but like consistency. You just said
Mhm.
it. And in the playoffs, if you have that, it's a fucking bonus because as we've been seeing in the past playoffs, besides Florida Panthers, because they're just built to win no matter what. But
Mhm.
in previous Stanley Cup Finals or Stanley Cup, um,
Playoffs
basically
or
playoffs, exactly.
yeah.
There's always that hot goalie who brings it to the end, or
Mhm.
that hot defense, or that hot offense, or whatever. But Edmonton and Florida this year, they're just perfect from all across the board.
Yeah,
From the goalie,
everybody's
they're all
contributing
yes,
a
exactly, from
thousand
A to
percent,
Z. And
1,000%.
you're
That's why they're there.
it-
That's why they're in the
that's why
finals.
both. But the thing is, that's why it's so scary this year. And I think that's why we're going to get a great matchup and a great finals because
Mhm.
both teams are contributing. Both teams are playing amazing from goalie all the way to offense. And and like you just said, teams like Toronto, again, I don't want to shit on them. I mean, I do, but I want to get into that. But, you know, you have a great team and you're just not all your players are contributing, especially your top end talent like,
Yeah.
Matthews and Marner and et cetera. But that's why I'm loving what I'm seeing in this Edmonton team. Like you just said, consistency, everybody is performing.
Yep.
Florida, they're just another level. But I want to ask you this question going back to um, Edmonton. Is it
Mhm.
their last chance? But how many times do we say that for them? Like we say that for Toronto, but they just don't go to past first round. But Edmonton's been going to the end. Edmonton has been getting to that point and just not, you know what I mean? And they've been. That's what we've always said. I think Edmonton was just built wrong, right? They've always had the opportunities to build their team properly. All those number one picks,
Mhm.
but just never like that's why I'm think like back to our team, Montreal Canadiens, where we're seeing the path being built properly.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's gonna get there, but it's going well. Edmonton just never did it right. They just those few seasons they were just focusing on defense, right? They were just drafting a bunch of defensemen, and they were trying to build their team off defense, and it wasn't working. Then they
Well,
started doing it offensively.
yeah.
Again, not working. They're a team like the Montreal City where they're just fixing their potholes.
Mhm.
Not necessarily, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Well,
They're
I mean,
just
I think like at one point, you look back at the Taylor Hall first overall pick, Ryan Nugent Hopkins first overall pick.
yeah.
Then they get Leon Draisaitl at like number 2 or number 3. Nail Yakupov, which is the biggest flop in
But
recent
that's
NHL memory as far as first overall picks are concerned. Then McDavid. So it was all at one point. It looked like they were building. It looked like they were a little too top heavy. So and there wasn't a proper balance.
that's what I was trying to
I
get. That
could
there
say,
was no balance.
but then but then look, they traded Taylor Hall, Ryan Nugent Hopkins. Yeah, he was a first overall pick, but I think they established his role properly as like for a first overall pick. He's not a superstar. He's a fantastic player, but he's not a superstar like a Leon Draisaitl or a Connor McDavid. But damn it, man, his role as like the second line center, he's just been consistent throughout. And sometimes we don't look at Ryan Nugent Hopkins because of McDavid and Draisaitl, but Nugent Hopkins, like he's gotten almost like he's 100 points like for multiple seasons, and he's only at like just and his cap hit is at 5.125 million. And look how many like, dude, what's okay, this season wasn't exactly his best, but he got 104 points in 2022, 2023, 50 points. You know what I mean? Like I find he's like the perfect role player within your top 6. But then they had to go get a bit of grit. That's when they got Zach Hyman. They brought in Evander Kane. They needed a little bit more playoff experience. Corey Perry. They went and get him.
But that's why I'm saying
but them on defense, like you had Evan Bouchard, who's very, very good, a very, very good offensive defenseman. He was he was definitely a top 10 pick. You have Darnell Nurse, who I still believe they overpaid, but then that's all they had, and that's why they couldn't go further. But then you know, like they bring in guys like Brett Kulak with experience. When they went to get Matthias Ekholm, that was huge for them, and it's going to be even huge for the Oilers right now, having him come back. You know, you bring in a guy, John Klingberg, who bad injuries, but like was still known as a top pairing defenseman back in his days in Dallas. But you bring him along, you give him a role as like a third pairing defenseman, shut down, just play simple minutes, just get the puck. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening right now. For the longest time, once that was established more or less amongst offense and defense, who's going to be the goalie? And Stuart Skinner, like he keeps proving people wrong. Like there was that whole goal controversy in the first round against LA between Skinner and Pickard, but ever since they put Skinner back in, like he's playing with confidence right now, and for some reason the Dallas Stars they couldn't beat him. They couldn't beat Stuart Skinner, and I just think the Dallas Stars, their confidence level went, I don't know where it went, but it definitely did not show up in this series. And then that game 5 where Pete DeBoer pulls out Ottinger like super early.
Yeah.
That created a whole fucking controversy to the point where like they were almost, I don't know who was comparing it to, but it has a bit of that same feel of like that Patrick Roy, Mario Tremblay disaster. But the only difference is that Mario Tremblay waited too late to pull out Patrick Roy from that game, even though it wasn't a playoff game. And you look at this time now, the board pulls out Jake Ottinger too early. But then you see that video of Jake Ottinger standing. He's fist bumping like all of his players. The coach comes, he puts his hands to his side, head down,
and walks away.
Like I don't want to go too deep into that discussion, but that was the final nail in the coffin in my opinion. That's causing major controversy in the hockey world, like at least for now, up until like puck drop of this finals. But the Edmonton Oilers, they and not to say that Dallas didn't play well. Like they, a couple of times, like most of the times in second periods, they were coming shot after shot after shot. It's just Stuart Skinner he stood on his head, and when he plays with confidence, like he gives the other guys confidence on the team. And that, you know, like I said, Nugent Hopkins carried a good load on his shoulders. McDavid, Draisaitl, they're going to do what they're going to do. Evan Bouchard on defense, he's putting up points and he's scoring big goals as on the defensive side. So, you know what I mean? Dallas, I don't know what the heck happened. I don't know where their best players went. I don't know where Mikko Rantanen, only 3 assists in 5 games, no goals. Jason Robertson, everybody was like, well, he needs to wake up in order for Dallas to beat the Oilers, and he did. 4 goals in 5 games, 5 points in 5 games, coming off an injury to start these playoffs. So he was rusty as hell. You're getting 2 goals from Tyler Seguin and then 1 goal from Mikael Granlund, but that's it. You had no goals from Mikko Rantanen, no goals from Wyatt Johnson. Rupe Hintz got hurt, so he missed a game or 2. That didn't help Dallas's cause either. But we're like no goals from Dandanov, like whatever. But you know what I mean? Mason Marchment, only 1 assist. Like these are your depth players. Matt Duchene, only 1 goal. Rupe Hintz, only 1 goal, 2 points in 4 games. Like the only one that had a point per game in this series was Jason Robertson, and he didn't even have the best playoffs. But he was the one guy that needed to step up in order for Dallas to beat the Oilers. But that's it. Nobody else showed up. You know, you want some points from your top defenseman, Miro Heiskanen. I love the guy. I love the player. Only 2 points in 5 games at a -3. It's a sad. Like the only one that I could see is Sam Steele that was at even. Oscar Bach and Ilya Lyubushkin at even as well. Everybody else, only Maverick Bourque was at a +1. Everybody else was in the minuses. Matt Duchene, a -7. Thomas Harley, who's really making a name for himself, -5. Mikko Rantanen, -4. The best players of the Dallas Stars, I don't know if there were injuries there or something, but they
just
didn't
show up.
show up, and poor Jake Ottinger was practically left hung out to dry, and the coach does that to him. I mean, I don't know. I know you want to try to light up a spark, but at that point, Game 5, a must-win game, and you do that, I don't know. I really don't know. The Edmonton Oilers, this looked like a very easy series, and it came with a cost too. They lost Zach Hyman, who's done, so that's a big loss for the Oilers facing against this Florida Panthers team that plays fucking this rough in your face hockey. The Edmonton Oilers lose their player with the most hits in the entire playoffs, not just the team, but the playoffs, who brings that in your face. Like Zach Hyman, you put him in this Florida Panthers team, he's gonna fit instantly. He'd be perfect for the Florida Panthers too. The Oilers losing him, that's gonna be a big loss. So I think that's a big challenge they have ahead of them. And otherwise, I think the Oilers have the edge as far as offense is concerned. Obviously, you've got the two best players in the world. On defense, I think it's a little bit more even. I think Florida's a little bit a better balance, but you have great offense coming from Evan Bouchard, and then you have Matthias Ekholm coming in. Not taking anything away from Stuart Skinner, but you guys all heard what I said about Bobrovsky and what I think about him. I think Florida has the upper hand as far as goaltending is concerned. So this is still more or less an even matchup. It's a rematch. Hopefully the Oilers learned their lesson from last season, but I still think this is going to 7. Who takes it? Dude.
Who takes it? It's basically, like you said, they're an even team, okay? Where I think the upper hand on Florida is the grit and the goalie, okay? But the upper hand on Edmonton is the talent and the offense.
Yeah.
Now, if Edmonton can come out and overpower that grit side of things, because goalie could be both ends, okay? I think both goalies proved that they can win it and come this far, okay? So put the goalie thing aside. I think it all comes down to the the physical side of this game. I think whoever comes out stronger on the physical side wins this series, because everything else, I think Florida can win it with their goalie and Edmonton can win it with their players, but it's all about physical. Whoever gets brought down fast and early, right? I think Florida is a very injured team, but they have the team to build.
They still fucking go, man.
I know, that's why they're fucking so perfectly built that injuries it doesn't matter, right? They can still win it with a bunch of injured players. So I think if Edmonton can wear them down and not bring out the physical side of Florida, then Edmonton can win it. But if Florida comes out physical and wears them down, forget it. Like McDavid and Draisaitl have no chance, right? So again, it all comes down to me. My opinion on this series is who comes out stronger on the physical side, because we always say it, right? Who has the best goal? The better goalie wins this series, or the better talent wins this series. I think this series specifically, it's the best physical team wins it, because I think they're an equal team everywhere else.
I think we can put that into the mix of this discussion. For me, I'm looking at the depth players on both teams, because, like I said, you know what you're going to get out of McDavid and Draisaitl and even Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. You know what you're going to get on Florida's side. You know what you're going to get out of, Barkov, who won the Selke Trophy again, best centerman in the NHL, in my personal opinion. You know what you're going to get out of Matthew Tkachuk. You know what you're going to get out of Sam Reinhart, and you know what you're going to get out of even Sam Bennett. but I'm looking at the depth. Like, what is like Brad Marchand's line going to do? Like, what is the fourth line going to do? But even on the flip side of the Edmonton Oilers, I'm looking at what Kasperi Kapanen is going to do, what Corey Perry is going to do. Even though you kind of know what you're going to get out of a veteran like Corey Perry, Evander Kane, like he's going to have to play physical. He's probably going to have to pick up the slack that Zach Hyman, because he's injured, he won't be able to bring. Adam Henrique, Jeff Skinner making the first time he makes the playoffs this year, and he's going to the Stanley Cup Finals. So is he going to be motivated if he gets the ice time? I'm looking at Connor Brown, Matthias Janmark, Matthias Ekholm. Like he's going to have to, like, if he's rusty, it's normal, but he's going to have to play a big time shutdown role. Jake Wallman on defense too is going to have to help out. Brett Kulak again. Like, this goes without saying, but is everybody going to fill and complete their roles? That's what it's going to come down to, but it's going to have to come down to production a little bit as well. Your best players always have to be your best players, but this is why you go get depth players. This is why you go make a trade for Brad Marchand, who is not going to be the best player on this team, but is still going to bring something even on the third line, which is absolutely amazing. So, like, is Carter Verhaeghe, is he able to step it up? Anton Lundell too, like we talk about him, but then like on defense, Nate Schmidt, Dmitry Kulikov, that I haven't mentioned yet either. So like it's Florida's depth, man, is something. It really is something. Like even Evan Rodriguez too, who stepped it up big time. He only has one goal, but he's got like 8 points in his last 6 playoff games too. Like this is he's not the best player on the team, but a role player that's putting up points. Like at that, all of that, what I said with your whoever's a lot more, whoever beats them down physically has a very, very good chance at winning this. And there's that video that came out last season of Paul Maurice, the head coach of Florida, but it's the same thing this year. Hit them like that. When it comes to game 7, they're tired. They got nothing.
It's all about who's wearing who out.
That's pretty much how it's going to come down to. So I don't know if you want to get into predictions. And earlier at the very beginning of this episode, Anthony, you mentioned that the next Canadian team we want to see bring the cup back to Canada is the Montreal Canadiens. I think for the first time in my life since a long time, I think I'm emotionally ready to see Edmonton bring the cup.
That's exactly how I started the episode. This is the first time ever, because I've been very selfish about this, and I had many arguments in the past with many people. When the Canadian team went to the finals, they're like, "Oh, you don't want to see a Canadian team win?" No, I do not want to see a Canadian team win. I want Montreal to bring it back.
Yeah.
But this is the first time in my whole life. Don't know what happened, why I feel this way. Again, I believe in, aside of being a Habs fan, we all could be selfish for our team, but in this situation, I strongly believe that some talent deserves to win something.
Yeah, I think that's what
someone like McDavid, when you see him in the finals last year and not winning it, and Draisaitl, you don't want to see, like, look, I don't want to bring this up, it's going to hurt you as well, but someone like Carey Price, who held the Montreal Canadiens on their shoulders for so long, and had to they didn't retire yet, but where it's coming.
Yeah, exactly.
End his career without winning it. It kind of sucks, right? Like,
you want to see the best win it. Absolutely.
You want to see the best win it. The Mario Lemieux, the Wayne Gretzky's, the Ovechkins, the Crosbys. I think McDavid is on that list to win it, and if he ends his career without winning it, it's gonna fucking hurt. And that's why I'm telling you before. I mentioned before, I don't want to re-spark this conversation, but if Edmonton doesn't win it this year, we said it before, right? I mentioned, like, the Oilers built their team wrong, but found a way to fix it through trades and finding the pieces now.
Free agents, yeah, exactly.
But now this team, I don't think, can continue this way. Like, Perry, the experience is going to be gone by next year. Kulaks, all these guys.
Oh, he's 40 years old too. Like, how much longer does he have?
That's why, if Edmonton doesn't win it this year, what is next for them? Can they continue doing this? Whereas why I believe, again, I want to bring this up. The Montreal Canadiens are building this team so fucking perfectly. And that's why I make these jokes in our group chats and at the end of every episode when I scream, Dynasty.
Yeah.
Like, if Montreal gets to the point, maybe next year or the year after, a contending team at such a young age,
Mm-hmm.
guys, like, if they don't win or win it, right? You can say, no one can have that conversation. Well, is this their last chance of winning it? No, because they're gonna have another chance the year after and the year after and
Yeah,
the year
because
after
they're doing it.
because
They're
they're
doing it at a
so
young age.
young.
Yeah.
Whereas when we talk about Toronto, where we always make this comment of, is this their last chance? Well, yes, it could be their last chance because they have an older team and they have a core that cannot survive in the salary cap. Where Edmonton too, if they don't win it, they have older players who are going to leave and they cannot continue.
McDavid's 28 and Draisaitl is 29. Zach Hyman 32. Because I have the list here.
Is closing.
It's man, like Adam Henrique 35. Like I remember when he was the best player of the New Jersey Devils back in the day. Jeff Skinner 33. There's 1 year left on McDavid's contract, that 12.5 million cap hit.
But that's why, like,
Evander Kane too. Nugent Hopkins is 32. He still looks like he's 12 years old. His contract, however, is the one that might save them at only no movement clause. Another 4 years remaining. Draisaitl's at $14 million with 4 years left. I'm not including this past season. McDavid's got 1 year left on his contract. Darnell Nurse, he's another up until 2030. Excuse me, sorry, Draisaitl, not 4 years. What am I saying? Up until 2033 at $14 million, and he's 29 years old. Like, they're in peak physical. I mean, they're always going to be in amazing shape. They're natural born athletes, but yeah, like this is the prime age where it's like, you got to start winning it now because
their window is closing, and that's why
it's up at the ages of 32, 33, 34 when you're supposed to be the best players, right? So Matthias Ekholm, 35 years old, like Evan Bouchard, Ekholm 35, Bouchard 25, who's an RFA. Like, yeah, the like Stuart Skinner at 26 years old, still okay. That's not bad. No, that it's coming down to the ages and contracts, the salary cap too. Like, it's not so bad right now. We know the cap is going up, but it's longevity. Are they going to be able to pull it off? And you said it perfect. You want to see the best win, and I think McDavid right now, he always deserved the Stanley Cup, like as being the best player in the world for the past 4 or 5 years almost. You know what? He won the Four Nations Cup for Canada. It was that perfect moment of that Crosby passing the torch to the next guy to lead Canada. Crosby won his cups. You kind of want to see McDavid now be in that discussion of Stanley Cup champions. And the beautiful thing about hockey, and especially in the NHL, is even if you don't win a Stanley Cup, you'll always be considered as one of the best. You know, Marcel Dion was one of the best players in the history of hockey, never won a Stanley Cup, committed to one team, the Los Angeles Kings. And even if McDavid doesn't ever win a Stanley Cup, he'll still be considered one of the best to ever play the game.
100%.
But you want to see him win a cup just to be like, he's officially a Stanley Cup champion. Like, you want to see him that. Same thing with Draisaitl too. So,
but that's why I'm saying, and this is my prediction, this is my scenario, if you want to call it. But if McDavid does not win this year with Edmonton, he's either A, not winning it ever in his life if he stays with Edmonton, or he's going to win it with another team. But this, I think, let me just conclude it. This is his last chance to win it in Edmonton this season. After that, he'll win it somewhere else if he leaves, or he'll never win it if he stays. That's my prediction, because you say that he's getting older. He is. His window is closing. But I think I would knock off 2 years out of his age, because he's such a good player that he doesn't play like a 28-year-old.
He's 20.
He's
he's 28.
Ovechkin he can last this long. And
McDavid's gonna be one of those players that, even if he's 28, he's approaching his 30s slowly. Like, he's still gonna play the same way.
Yeah.
But it's going to be at a point where, our players like Evander Kane and Zach Hyman and Victor Arvidsson, Adam Henrique, they're all in their 30s too. Are they going to be able to keep up their their capabilities of being role players on a Connor McDavid leading team. It's not so much him the problem; it's finding the key pieces
to help him
that
out.
to help him out. And there's only 1 year left on these contracts that management's gonna have to figure out. Well, if it's not going to be these guys, who is going to be their best replacements? So that's why I asked the question: Is this is their biggest window of opportunity that they couldn't get done last year? So, man, I strong feeling it's going to 7. I honest to God, it was easy for me to pick Florida last year, and at one point they scared me because Edmonton came back down 3-0, brought it to 7. I really think my heart wants it to be Edmonton, but I still think my brain says Florida in 7. I'm going with that, man. I don't know. I don't know. This time, I don't know who's going to win it. Last year, I felt confident that Florida was going to win it. This year, this rematch, I have no clue, dude. I really don't know. It's because I find it's so even matchup. Maybe a little bit more on Florida's side now that Zach Hyman is out. But it still could go either. It still could go either way, man.
Edmonton are a little bit on the favorite side in the gambling sports books.
I think
I have
it's hard.
Edmonton in 6.
It's hard to bet against McDavid and Draisaitl for second Stanley Cup Finals in a row, and I get it. But you can't bet against Paul Maurice's team either. You can't, though, dude. It's so close. It's so close, man. It's gonna make one heck of a finals, though. That I can bet on that, and I can bet every dollar I got that.
But there's such a hype of that tight series that I feel like it's gonna go one way.
It could be, dude. It's gonna be one of those series where like, and it goes without saying too, anything's possible. Absolutely. Like if it does go one way, I'll be shocked. If somebody sweeps either or teams, I'll be shocked. Even if somebody wins the series 5-1, I'll be shocked. I still think this is gonna go to 7. Like if somebody wins it in game 6, okay, you could kind of. There's probably going to be enough evidence on the ice to see why somebody wins it in 6. But other than that, like, if it doesn't go to 7, I'll be shocked.
I played it safe and I said Edmonton in 6, but my gut for this series is it's ending in 5. I don't know
for either or.
For either or.
Okay, yeah.
For either or, because I think one team is going to come out strong, and they're just going to clean up house. Who's home? I think it's Florida home, right?
I think Edmonton has a home ice advantage. I
think if Edmonton comes out of their home with a 2-0 series, then Florida wins 1 at home, and then it's going to finish in 5 for Edmonton.
Watch it be the same like the Toronto Florida series, where like their team's winning at home to start it off, back at home, and then they start winning it on the road. Watch it be something like that again. But who wins it? I mean, obviously, Florida didn't have home.
It'd be nice if Edmonton wins it. I want it to be at home.
So yeah, I think I can agree with that.
That's why it has to be a game 5 win.
It's got if we want Edmonton to bring the cup back to Canada, can they at least do it on Canadian soil? Yeah. I think that would be cool. I think that would be pretty cool. Okay, I think I'm emotionally ready for.
All this to say, this is the year that we want to see a Canadian team win.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't be disappointed either.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, exactly. I'll be. You know what? Not only would I be happy for Canada, because I think, not to open the political can of worms here, but I think recently how Canadian politics have been treated lately. The Four Nations tournament, Canada won. But the funny thing is that there's so many Canadian players on Florida's team. There's like a lot of Canadian guys on Florida's team, by the way. Same thing with Edmonton a little bit, but I think it would be sweet justice if, you know what? I think I just figured out another reason to root for Edmonton this year. Again, I'm putting my political beliefs aside, obviously, but I think it would be a little bit another icing on the cake if hockey's holy grail were to come back to Canada, I think would be even more sweet. Again, at the end of the day, I'm happy with either or, whoever wins it, because I love the Florida Panthers. Sasha Barkov, Selke Trophy winner again, in my opinion, is the best centerman, not the best hockey player, but the best center ice player in the league now that Patrice Bergeron is gone. And I would kill to have him as a centerman along with Nick Suzuki. I'll be happy either or. Whoever wins it, I'll be happy, but I might be extra happier if Edmonton wins it. So before we close off on that, I wanted to bring up some interesting history facts. Like, this is what is this? It's the 5th rematch in Stanley Cup Finals in NHL history as far as the Stanley Cup Finals are concerned. So the last time, so sorry, you saw McDavid touching the trophy.
Mm-hmm.
He touched not the cup, but yeah, he touched. Did you see the video of Edmonton Oilers fans in their arena freaking out?
Yeah.
Whereas Barkov didn't touch the we'll call it the Eastern Conference Champions Trophy, and Connor McDavid touched the Western Conference, the Campbell or whatever trophy. I keep forgetting I know the names, but I'm forgetting which is where. So pretty sure Campbell is the Western. But anyways, so last time there was a matchup was in 2008 and 2009, Detroit versus Pittsburgh. Detroit won the cup in 2008, but then Pittsburgh won the cup in 2009. But then the last couple of times, the one previous before that was
Clarence Campbell, just to confirm.
Yeah, exactly. Clarence Campbell, yeah. The Islanders and the Oilers, back-to-back rematches. Islanders won it in 83, Oilers won it in 84. And then the other two, obviously the Montreal Canadiens involved, giving their dynasty history. Canadiens won the cup 77 and 78. The Canadiens won the cup in 68 and 69. So just as far as rematches are concerned, back-to-back cups, no one's gonna match the Canadiens dynasty. No one's gonna match the Oilers and the Islanders of the 80s as well. Another interesting fact, though, the Florida Panthers, this is 3 times, 3 seasons in a row, they go to the Stanley Cup Finals. The last time for that to happen was the Oilers in the 80s. In 83, they lost to the Islanders. 84, they won the Islanders. But then in 85, they won the cup against the Philadelphia Flyers. But coincidentally, it was the New York Islanders who went to the Stanley Cup Finals for 3 years, 3 seasons in a row before all of that. And that's why they're part of it's basically the last 2 dynasties of the 80s, the Oilers and the Islanders. So it's still somewhat pretty cool to see that both the Panthers and the Oilers are somewhat making Stanley Cup Finals history. So just something for the history books for our audience members, but it's pretty cool, man. We're gonna see, we'll see. Did McDavid break that curse by actually touching the Clarence Campbell Trophy? I don't know. Hockey players, fans, we could be superstitious like crazy.
Well, he said it last year. He didn't touch it, and he wants to touch it this year. So he's hoping for the opposite effect. And Florida did the same thing. They did the opposite. So
yeah, but when Barkov touched it versus before they went to the finals against Vegas, they lost. He didn't touch it. Last season, they won. He didn't touch it again. So yeah. We'll see. It's a bunch of superstitious nonsense. I mean, at the end of the day, that's not going to be the determining factors of who wins the Stanley Cup.
Exactly.
It's just a little more shenanigans to talk about. But wanted to get into real quick. We're going to turn the page a little bit on the Montreal Canadiens organization side to end this episode. But the Laval Rocket are looking to avoid getting swept by Florida's farm team, the Charlotte Checkers, tonight in Charlotte as well, Game 4. You can tell this Charlotte team is the Florida Panthers farm team. I was at the game last Thursday evening. I was at Place Bell, and I got to meet Tony Marinaro, by the way, from the Sick Podcast and BPM Spa, which was such a cool moment for me. I'm feeling very lucky and blessed to have had that opportunity. Great guy. Spoke a little bit. He knows who the Curfew Boys are.
Amazing.
He retweeted us. I tweeted about him saying it was great meeting you, et cetera, et cetera. He retweeted saying it was great pleasure meeting you as well. Best of luck to your Montreal Canadiens podcast. Keep going, et cetera. So that was a pretty cool moment. But that game, the Charlotte Checkers team, dude, they play exactly like the Florida Panthers. The in your face hitting, like don't give you time to breathe type of hockey. And it shows they're a bunch of veterans, a bunch of guys, 26, 27, 28-year-olds that just they've played pro hockey for years and years, made the playoffs a couple of times. It just shows that Laval Rocket, they're still young and inexperienced when it comes to playoff type of hockey. So, and it's okay. I don't know if the Laval Rocket are gonna come out of this one. You never know. It ain't over until the fat lady sings.
You never
And
know, but Sam, just like we said about the Montreal Canadiens gaining that experience for
Mhm.
round one for all these young players, and now you're giving our farm team
Yeah.
with projected players who are going to be in the lineup for us next year and the future.
Mhm.
So, and they made it to the finals. So the experience they got in
The
that
Eastern
kind of
Conference
atmosphere,
Finals. Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
big time.
so to have a team like that, sorry, Eastern Conference, yeah, because there's still another round after that, right? So,
Yeah.
um, for them to experience the atmosphere and the grit in playoff hockey, and I know it's not the same level as the NHL, but it's somewhat close, right? So you are
Mhm.
playing players who had experience in the NHL, so I
Yep.
think it's a win no matter what. Like we came this far, which was similar to what we said about the Montreal Canadiens.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter how far they go, as long as they made the first round, win or lose, we're happy.
Mhm.
Whereas the Rockets, we said the same thing. They went further, so they gained that extra experience.
Mhm.
And if they win or lose, we're just happy where they came. It kind of sucks to come this far and then lose it, but it doesn't matter. I think for us as Habs fans, it is a win.
Yep.
Exactly like the Montreal Canadiens. It's the experience these young players like Mayu and Reinbacker
Yeah, dude,
getting that
he's
experience.
good. He's
You
good,
know,
man. He's good, Reinbacker.
Fowler
Yeah.
winning games for us. I know this is a whole back and forth Fowler and Primo. I don't know why they're doing this
Yeah,
in the playoffs, but
it's a bit weird. This is the first time where we're questioning Pascal Vincent, the head coach's decision making. I question and wonder if a lot of it is influence from management. Really wanted to see Jacob Fowler play these types of games, and he's getting the start tonight, Tuesday night, game 4, winner, like their backs against the wall. It's
the
like
thing
do
is,
or
if you
die.
win it, please keep him. You know what I mean? Like,
That's what
if
I'm
they
saying.
win
And
tonight,
look,
keep him for the rest of the fucking series. Do not
Caden
put Primo
Primo,
next week.
we're not going to get into the discussion what happens to Caden Primo. We still got many episodes left to talk about this. And I get Caden Primo getting the start considering the season he's had ever since he got called down. He was practically the best goalie in the league, 20 wins, only 2 losses. He gets a shutout to sweep the Rochester Americans. Like, he deserved those starts, but it's 2 games in a row now where he gets pulled. Not necessarily his fault. The team's not playing well in front of him. There might be a goal or two where he would like to get back, and you put Jacob Fowler in. It's like, give Fowler the start. But if Fowler wins this one, you have to. You
have
have
to
to
keep it.
keep him in. Like, no disrespect to Caden Primo, what he's done to Laval Rocket. It's not working for him in this series. Like, it's the not the bad habits of Caden Primo that we saw when he was with the Canadiens, but there's a bit of that feeling too. And again, I'm not putting all the blame on him, not even close. If Fowler wins tonight and keeps the Rocket alive for at least one more game, you have to put him
You
in.
have to keep him.
You
Now
have to
you got to
put the
play with
kid
the
in.
momentum. I
Yeah,
think
or
at this
and the
stage,
hotter
hot hand.
goalie.
Yeah, exactly.
1,000%. So you mentioned it at great points. The experiences for Logan Mailloux, David Reinberger, like I said, guys like Florian Jacki, Joshua Roy a little bit too. You know what I mean? Owen Beck, and like I'm really talking about the future guys
Future.
that we might see in the lineup. No, absolutely. At the end of the day, one of the youngest teams in the American Hockey League. They're the first place in the entire league. Pascal Vincent, his first year as a coach in the AHL, what he does with that group of kids,
And Sam, we talk
absolutely.
we talk about we
It's
talk about Florida building their farm team like their own NHL team. Montreal and the Laval Rockets are doing the same exact thing.
dude, 1,000%. They're putting emphasis on the importance of building a culture, not just in your NHL team, but in your farm team as well, within your development program. Like, dude,
Mm-hmm.
Adam, we talk about Adam Nicholas being involved with the kids. Dude, guys like Paul Byron and Francis Bouillon are involved with the kids in Laval as well. Like, they're putting emphasis on all of that, on development, on both sides of the coin here, if you will, not just in the NHL, but in the minor leagues as well. They're trying to develop these kids to be great players in the minors, but when they come to the NHL, they could be excellent role players for this team as well. So 1,000% exactly. I'm not saying the Montreal Canadiens are going to be the next Florida Panthers, but the way they're trying to build a team together, not rush any of the plans, will when the time comes, we'll release an episode about what we think Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon will do at the draft, because the NHL Combine started yesterday on June 2nd. So now's the time to evaluate: do we draft? Do we trade? Do we keep one draft pick, trade the other pick? We're going to get into that in future episodes. But all that to say is, we see the trend of how the Canadiens are building this team to have success. We're looking how Florida's doing it.
You're building a team.
It's a copycat.
You're building the team to have a long future. Like I said, dynasty.
And that's
not a short-term win.
And that's the vision of Kent Hughes. He says it over and over again: we're building a team to contend not just for one or two seasons, but for multiple seasons. Exactly like the Florida Panthers have done.
You want to see teams like the Chicago Blackhawks, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Pittsburgh Penguins, Detroit. These guys, when they won it many times,
and they did it through the draft too. Whereas Florida did a little bit more through trades, but a lot of these trades, it's drafting good players for something better in return.
You don't want just one-offs, like the Carolina Hurricanes when they won that 1 year in 2007, 2006,
2006,
and then you never see them again until now, right? Like, you don't want that. Yes, it's nice as a fan to experience at least one more cup in your life, but
for you to do that, 1,000% you want to see that. But for NHL teams to do that like 3 years in a row now,
you know how tired these fucking players are. Like,
you know how tough but you know how tough that is. It's insane tough. Expansion, salary cap era now, where you're limited, and and 82 games, you barely get the summer off. Like,
exactly, these players in 2 weeks they're done, and then they have 2 months before training camp. Like, guys, it's amazing to see.
I love it. That's why it's the hardest trophy to win in the world, and to bring it 3 times in a row to the finals. Like, you're building your team right, and you've done the right things. Like, absolutely, can't end better than that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's come to an end.
This is Mumbo number 5.
Mumbo. Enjoy the finals.
Yeah, Wednesday night,
guys. Just to throw it out there to all our curfew boys. Anthony wins the bracket challenge 2 years in a row. Even though my prediction is not correct, mind you, I did get Florida to the finals correct, but I put Joel's Winnipeg to win it. But it doesn't matter. My point standings is to the roof.
Better again.
2 years in a row. So maybe next year we'll put in a challenge here and watch I lose it. But yeah,
let's put money in and see who really starts winning.
So to all the listeners and fans there, if you like what you hear, like we said before, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok. Subscribe and like our channel on YouTube if you want to see our beautiful faces. You can listen to us on any podcast platforms such as Apple Music, Spotify, Google, any platform podcast you like to listen to. We would like to thank all our sponsors on tonight's episode, Habs Cave and Mike's Barbecue Rubs. We will have their information on our social media page. You can follow them and get their products. They're amazing.
Yep.
Finals.
Yep. Finals tomorrow night, Wednesday. Finally, hockey is finally back after the World Championship is done. Congratulations to the London Knights for winning the Memorial Cup. What else is there? It's just like suddenly it was just a shit ton of hockey to all of a sudden, well, now it's going to be every second night. So,
And before we know it, it's going to be the draft, and then July 1st.
I can't wait for that. I can't wait for us to talk about that. Yeah. Thanks to the followers and supporters. Like and subscribe. Like Anthony said, it's absolutely free. If you guys are feeling extra generous, please give us a 5-star rating and review on our audio platforms and on YouTube. It'll be the best way of showing and feeling the love. That's all I got to say.
Amazing. All right, ladies and gents, until next time, bye now. Good night.